Years ago, a friend of mine asked me to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I was in high school. I'd never even heard of the movie before. But he was so excited to watch it. So I agreed to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We sit down to watch the movie. And he is so excited. And the music comes in and it's this ominous tone. Dong. And then across the screen reads, England, 932 AD. And you hear this sound of a horse coming. Then you see King Arthur come riding over the hill, but you notice that when he gets to the top, he's not on a horse. He's just trotting. And his squire behind him has two halves of coconut, and he's banging them together to make it sound like riding a horse. And my friend is just loving this movie. He's seen it before, and he's so excited for this movie. So I continue to watch it with him, but it's still just kind of weird. And the first 5 or so scenes of the movie, really the whole movie, and it's quite funny when you pay attention and you start listening to it, but you got to actually fight for it. But the reason that I have such fond memories of that movie is because of my friend. It's because of his joy and the atmosphere that he built up, the excitement around watching the movie. That was a little bit more exciting than the movie at first. But then I started to pay attention to the movie. And I started really enjoying the movie. So I have a Monty Python theory based on that experience that I had with my friend. And it applies to all sorts of things. It applies to sports. Some people love baseball and other people think that it's quite boring. Some people love watching soccer and other people find it quite boring. You can find this across all different kinds of sports. But if you talk to someone who really likes baseball, ask them why. The first thing they probably tell you about is not baseball itself. The first thing they probably tell you about is, I remember going to the ballpark with my dad when I was little. And the Cracker Jacks. And the hot dog. And the guy walking up and down the aisle shouting, "Peanuts!" And that was my joyful experience with baseball as a kid. But now, over the years, I've come to really enjoy the game because I slowly learned more and more about it. And similarly, we have these kinds of interactions with family holidays. What makes Christmas Christmas to you? What makes Easter Easter to you? What makes these holidays meaningful to you started in your initial experiences of them. The joys that you had of having cranberries at Thanksgiving dinner. But for some people, what it needs to be is cranberries from a can that you can still see the ridges from the can. Like, it's about the experience that later drives into what does it mean. This Monty Python theory of mine applies to the church and worship and our faith. Our gospel reading from a few weeks ago came from Luke chapter 24. And there are 2 people walking on the road to Emmaus. One is Cleopas and his buddy. And they're walking. And Jesus starts walking with them, asking questions, which is quite interesting. And then later, he still can't be recognized by them, which is a whole other topic. But they say to each other, "Did not our hearts burn within us while he talked to us on the road, while he opened to us the scriptures?" You see, what they're experiencing is the Monty Python theory. For them, they were being thrust into their memory of their experiences with Jesus, of their experiences with the scriptures. But see, this is more powerful than my Monty Python experience was. Because this had everything to do with the salvation of their souls and their care for other souls around them in their lives. What this meant for Cleopas and his friend is that they had to talk about this. The whole point of the Monty Python theory is that joy and excitement becomes contagious, and the experience drives toward meaning. Worship is that. Our worship should take on that. Yes, it's the children's message. Yes, it's the songs. Yes, it's the smiles and the food. But all of that I remember as a child very much enjoying drives toward why? Drives towards our purpose for coming. Because Jesus did this for me. I don't need to work my way to heaven. And because of that, then I have the freedom to serve my neighbor. I'm not worried about climbing the ladder to heaven. The ladder and Jesus and God came to me. So now I'm free. For by grace you have been saved. Through faith. This is not your own doing. It is the gift of God. So that no one can boast. This is the core of our joy and excitement. And my prayer is that we can exhibit this joy contagiously to the people around us, living in the love of the gospel.